Hello and welcome back to our podcast called The Executive Edge. So it's our first live podcast for the week. It's been a long week since we have some personal stuff that we need to take care of. But don't worry, because tonight we're going to discuss about some micro errors that you commit when you are at work. And sometimes it's a bit uneasy to realize that you have or you commit this type of micro errors, like when you pronounce some words, the pronunciation, and you are a non-native speaker. That is a bit annoying in my case. Yeah, when I was still trying to improve myself, when I would like to have a perfect pronunciation, and I'm trying to enunciate every detail, like the single vowel or consonant. And sometimes there are these scenarios where you have some slip ups like this, like you tend to mispronounce some words because you're thinking in your native language, and that's normal, I think. So welcome to tonight's Executive Edge. So this is dedicated to sharpening your business English and boosting your professional impact. So again, I'm your host, Coach Nant, and tonight, we're diving into a subtle but significant pronunciation point that can make all the difference in how you are perceived in the workplace. So let's turn off the music. Have you ever said something in a meeting only to realize later it might have been misunderstood, and then you cannot sleep at night? Have you been there? Or perhaps you've heard someone mispronounce a common word, and it just it stood out. So in this episode, we're tackling one of those exact situations, a classic micro error that can unfortunately signal linguistic uncertainty, even if your ideas are brilliant. And I hate that. So that's also my pet peeve, when I mispronounce some words, like when I did this hosting thing in my previous school. So it's an international school, and then I accidentally said dinner. So instead of dinner, I said dinner. And when my colleague said, "Hey, you mispronounced that word, dinner." So through time, I just realized that some coworkers don't really care about those slip ups. But for me, sometimes I get annoyed when I listen back to a recording that I did and I mispronounce those words. So we're going to put a spotlight on two words that for many non-native English speakers can sound incredibly similar. So for some non-natives, they think that these two words are okay to be interchanged. And those two words are color and colleague. So let's start with color. Think of collar on a shirt or a dog's collar. So the O sound there is short and open, like in the word hot or dog. So this can pertain to the British style of pronouncing the word collar. I think for British, uh, the R is not so distinct, so it's like collar. But in American English, it's collar, collar. So try it with me. So collar. Can you repeat that? Collar. Okay. So the sound comes from the back of your throat. So you can use uh, this time to try it yourself. Okay. So now let's move to colleague. This is the word for a coworker. So someone you work alongside. The O sound here is different. It's more like the O in goal or flow. So this can also apply to British pronunciation. So goal, colleague, colleague. Yeah. So I think in British English it's colleague or like flow. Oh, colleague. But in American English, it's colleague. So don't forget the soft G towards the end. Okay. So that's where non native speakers get confused, like color and colleague. So do you feel the slight rounding of your lips, the slightly different tongue position? Colleague. Okay. So like the sound of O in goal and flow. Yeah, but most British friends say this like co colleague, colleague, yeah, something like that. But for American English, it's colleague. It's like imagine like KAA, colleague. So that's the American English. The difference is so subtle, right? But in a professional context, mixing these up can lead to some truly awkward moments. So imagine you're introducing a team member and you say, I'd like you to meet my color. So that's the color of your shirt. So instead of, I'd like you to meet my new colleague. Okay, suddenly a perfect professional introduction becomes, well, confusing, if not a little strange. Okay, so imagine that color and colleague. So why does this matter? So in a competitive professional environment, every detail counts. So it can be a case by case basis, like what they say. It depends on the work culture. It depends on your workplace, the people there. Some people don't really care, like in my previous school, but there are some uh, members who can also uh, point that out, saying that you mispronounced this, something like that. But in my experience, I haven't encountered someone from the West who tried to point that out. Okay, so it can be a case by case basis. But if you are in a very competitive professional environment, those the details they count. Okay, if you're a manager or a young professional, you want to project confidence, precision, and a strong command of the language. So these small pronunciation errors, while seemingly minor, can chip away at that perception of credibility. So we don't want that. So for some people, maybe they are observing you, and those small details can affect how they perceive you as as a colleague, making them focus on how you're saying something rather than the brilliant idea or the awesome idea you're trying to convey or express. So, how do we master this distinction? Tip number one is you listen actively. Pay close attention when native speakers use these words. Okay, so how do they open their mouths? What's the subtle sound? Number two is try to exaggerate at first. When practicing, really lean into the vowel sounds. For caller, uh, really open up. For colleague, really round those lips slightly, but don't overdo it. Okay, because there are some non-native speakers I hear they say colleague. Uh, it doesn't sound right. But you can practice and over enunciate and then gradually bring it back to a natural speed. Tip number 3 is you try to record yourself. So I've, I've been telling this to my students. So you can use your phone, say caller, colleague, caller, colleague, and then listen back. Are you hearing the difference? Your own ears are your best coach. And these days, some people are trying to record and talk with AI. You can also do that. I believe if you are subscribed to the free version, there could be a limit when you're trying to talk to AI via voice, but at least you can verify if the AI can understand you. If it can understand you, it means if you're understood, it means you're clearly projecting your voice. Okay. So, like what we've said before, it's not about being perfect. Okay. So some people they prefer you to be authentic, like sound with a bit of accent is okay. But for some bosses or some business partners, they are too picky about this, so they can be annoyed when you speak uh, in a what do you call that unclear way of conveying your message. So they get annoyed and you're hard to listen to. So at least try to practice pronouncing the words and enunciate the words properly. Okay. And for some people, when they hear that you sound clear and your accent is good, there's a bias there. Uh, you can build trust and influence. So for some people, it's like that. So you will be lucky if you have a boss or a business partner who is not so particular with understanding or accent. Some people have a good ear, so they can adjust on your pace. But if you are dealing with them at a regular basis, it's very important for you to have like a clear communication. Okay. There's also a saying that you don't judge a book by its cover, but sometimes, let's be real, we still judge anything by the first impression, right? So remember that consistent improvement in these small areas leads to significant gains in your overall overall professional communication. And that, my friend, is how you stay fluent and forward. And that's it. I think we already covered the right ways to pronounce these two words, so don't confuse color with colleague. Don't try to interchange the two words because color is something that is a part of your shirt or your dog's collar, like around the neck. So that's collar. So you don't say, let me introduce to you to my new collar. That's wrong. Okay, so thank you for tuning in to Executive Edge. If you found this helpful, please share it with a colleague. With a colleague, that's colleague, okay? And with a soft O sound. And subscribe for more business English insights. So you can find us on YouTube for some visuals to see the content of our podcast. But in this podcast, I believe we only have a banner. So there's no visuals for this podcast. And if you reach this part of the podcast, I know that you are serious with your English proficiency and self improvement. So if you would like to have like a one-on-one coaching, don't hesitate to drop us a message by going to our website. That's www.thenglishcrew.com/contact. And if you also find this valuable, you can also hit on the like, the thumbs up, so that YouTube can recommend this to other listeners or other viewers on Facebook. And that's it. So I'll see you again in the next one. Bye.